Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. I want to have a little disclaimer before it starts. This episode is a little dated. I want to say we recorded it back in April and it's July right now. So, especially in the beginning of the video, we talk about stuff that's either already happened or is gonna happen. Um, and we were young back then. It was April, so we had no idea. And I wanted to make a little disclaimer before this video starts. But we've gotten so much great feedback from the first episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like the podcast, please make sure that you like it and you follow it on whatever you listen to the podcast on and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would really help us out and it's sharing it the way that everyone else has. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Oh my God, Alana, welcome back.
Hi, friend.
Hi, friend.
Bestie. Family.
Um,
Lover. No,
Lover.
you're married.
To a man.
Well,
So are you doing the bending?
maybe.
Welcome back to another episode of Into the Industry. Me and Alana have just been chilling, waiting to see you guys once again.
I know. Thank you so much for coming back. If you did come back, if you're new,
welcome. We have one episode before this. It's really fun.
It was a hit.
It was a hit, apparently. It was about us going to college and our college experiences, and we had our lovely friend Kai Mariah on as a guest, and it was a really fun time. I really enjoyed it.
So I thought that for this episode, we could kind of start off with a little industry reality check. I thought that would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah, like what has happened between last week and this week.
Exactly. So, like, how has the industry been treating you this week?
Well, a lot of Broadway shows have opened since the last time we had an episode. Boop opened.
Boop.
Boop, the Betty Boop musical. What other things have opened?
Real Women Have Curves.
Real Women Had Curves. Dead Outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe
Just in Time.
Just in Time.
The new one with Jonathan Groff and
Just in Time.
Gracie Lawrence.
Did they open or have they just started previews?
They're still doing previews or whatever. Something's happening
Anyways,
over there.
A lot of
Seems
new shows.
like a good time.
A lot of new shows have started. Previews are coming in right before the Tony season deadline and everything. That's usually how it always is. But that's really exciting and kind of just gearing up for Tony nominations come out on May 1st, which is real exciting.
Yeah, the OBC of Mary came back.
Like maybe I don't know what's going on in my own life.
Your own life, the OBC of Mary.
The original Broadway cast of Oh Mary came back after after the Burgess administration and after the Gilpin administration. It was really fun to have both Titus Burgess and Betty Gilpin on for the show. They're beautiful, amazing people. But yeah, now it's just family. Again, just gearing up for the summer season, Tony's.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good season.
What about you? What has been going on in your sphere?
I think that it's been pretty good lately. I've had a lot of auditions, which is great. I've had a lot of, rejections, which is also great. I had this audition.
There can be 100 people in a room, and 99 of them say no.
But there's just one, and let me tell you, this was one of the 99 that said no. So, yeah, no, I had this audition come in for a little reading, and I've always wanted to kind of be in a 29-hour reading, but sadly this was not the case. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm doing great. No, but it was so funny because I put so much anticipation and work into that audition. But it's chill. It's fine. I love when they're you.
It's fine. No, I don't. I didn't even need it. Really.
I'm good. No, but it just seemed like a good piece of theater, and I'm sure that it's gonna be great. But other than that, I got booked for a little short film that I get to do at the end of the month, which is so fun. So we're, keeping our strides going with film and TV. So that's super fun. And yeah, I mean, overall, I think that it's been a pretty good week in terms of artistry.
Love that. So I actually read up, I saw on Playbill that Equity's not allowing unofficial lists at auditions anymore.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, but that also makes it
I feel like that ruins it for everybody else, kind of,
Why?
because
We get more sleep.
sure, I guess, um, but then no non-equity person gets seen for open calls for the cattle calls anymore. Which
No, I think that the way that they're doing it is just like the equity monitor, the unofficial list cannot leave the equity monitor's table. So it's basically saying that like cuz Nanek was doing it by themselves before and it was
and just
becoming a
handing the monitor a
crazy
list.
thing, and then other people were like ripping up the unofficial list and creating new unofficial lists. So now it's just saying that like the equity monitor is kind of the person in charge of that unofficial list, and it's not allowed to leave the equity monitor's desk. So there still is an unofficial list, there still is all of that stuff, non-union can still be seen. It just like there's no more like midnight signups outside of Pearl and all of that stuff.
Which was how. Also, this was
Which is
obviously
crazy.
who knows? It might have changed by now. We were filming this way in advance
Yeah.
too, so like all the shows that have opened and stuff have been open for a while by the time this comes out. But like, so who knows? They might have changed it. But I mean, in a way, it makes me maybe it's like my theater brain being like, ugh, whatever happened to going to Pearl at 4 o'clock in the morning and lining up outside it just to write your name on an imaginary list.
But it got so bad.
Oh,
It's
I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm just saying like what happened to the nostalgia? Whatever happened to
Yeah, it's vintage now.
being whatever happened like being exhausted for your audition that you wait at Pearl for 12 hours for. Which was never my favorite thing to
No.
do. And I always made other people go sign me up.
I
But
definitely, well, I think that that's the issue too, is that you can only write your name. You can no longer write
other people's
like
name.
your other friends, because that's also what was happening. I think that it's a really good thing, but it's coming from equity to non-union. It's, in my opinion, a little bit of a slap in the face to non-union. Like, you guys can't handle yourselves, so like we're gonna do it for you, which is
Yeah, but then it gets like trippy because then it's like, well, because we're non-union, it's like that's the only way that we could kind of make sure that we had some kind of order coming into auditions. And then when the monitor got in there, we're able to be like, okay, the monitor is going to write down the names from the top of the line, and then whoever is at the bottom line isn't going to be seen. It just makes it a little more like, feels like it's going to be more exclusive. It's going to be more, and also as the cattle calls get smaller and smaller and smaller, and how everybody got random equity membership the last couple of years. Everybody's EMC now or equity just because they wanted to pay
yeah.
for it. So, you know,
I think that it's better because I think that hopefully it will stop the fighting that was happening in the calls.
I never saw that.
Well, there were
I was
I've heard
asleep in my bed.
I've heard so many stories about this past audition season, like the fighting that would happen because people were like ripping up, lists. There was like calling out on social media. There was
Yikes.
like the blackball of
What's
like
that one website that people had, like Audition Update or something?
callback corner.
Wow.
Girl, I still check that.
Callback corner, like, because I remember like, oh, they're taking the unofficial list, they're not taking it, like, oh, they're calling non-equity now, or like being look at it being like, well, I'm on the list, the unofficial list, and I'll go after work, and then being like, well, we're not seeing non-equity anymore. It saves a
Yeah.
lot of people time.
I will say a really good resource for like EPAs and ECCs and like open calls and stuff is The Hustle. You could follow them on Instagram, and like they post daily about like what like auditions are happening that day, and then they'll keep you updated like throughout the day. They'll be like, they're seeing equity right now. They released non-ec. Like it's a really good resource for actors who are auditioning to have. So I would definitely go follow The Hustle. Shout out.
Shout out The Hustle. I remember the worst. Maybe this is what ruined auditioning for me. I've auditioned for many things since, but pre-pandemic, Mean Girls, first national tour of Mean Girls, production contract. I went to Pearl Studios at maybe 9 o'clock in the morning for this afternoon audition. I think the auditions were like started at like 1 or noon or something like that. 1 or noon or 1. I was there all day from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. And as the equity list was running out, there was maybe 3 more people on the equity list to still be seen. And they came in the room full of people that haven't been seen yet, and we're like, we're not seeing non-equity today.
Right, right.
And the way I said, well, and that was it. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't want to do this.
It's tough.
Because the way I wasted my entire day, and then I had to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
Like I had an evening shift that day.
You know, speaking of work, I think that that's a great way to kind of lead into like what this episode is about.
Oh, absolutely. Come on, segue.
Come on, segue. Call me a professional. No, because like I think this episode we are going to be talking about survival jobs and what that is. How do you get them? How do you balance your survival job?
What
and
a survival job means for you specifically.
Exactly. How to balance them, like how to deal with like, you know, lack of creativity in a survival job versus like trying to be an artist every single day. So that is kind of like the overview of like what this episode is about, and it's just gonna be us today.
It's just us today. Sorry we don't have a guest,
Yes,
but it's okay.
sorry.
We'll have plenty of guests in the future. Sometimes it will just be us, and you get to hear us bitch and moan about whatever we want to bitch and moan about,
Today it's work.
which is a thing I love to bitch and moan about. Do you have any questions for me, Alana, or questions for us to answer?
Okay, so my first kind of question, I have my notes on my phone if you're watching our little video over here. Go watch our videos on YouTube because we have our full episodes on YouTube if you want to watch.
This is an audio-visual podcast. So if you want to see me and Alana sit on my couch and stare at each other for an average of 45 to 55 minutes, you know.
That's what we're doing. Come chill with us.
You're more than welcome.
Okay. So let's start this off. So I kind of wanted to go through like what is a survival job and why do you need them? And I looked up, as the greatest researcher that I am, having a BFA in musical theater, I looked up on Google. What?
The definition of a survival job.
Definition of a survival job. So the definition of a survival job via Google is a temporary, often lower skilled or lower paying position taken to cover essential living expenses, particularly while pursuing a more desired career or during periods of unemployment.
T.
Thank you. Stops.
Well, I mean, yes, that is the direct definition of what a survival job is. And obviously, I'm assuming a lot of us knew that, right? Mm-hmm. But also survival job can just be, in terms of acting, in terms of like if you are working in theater, or not even being an actor, just like working in theater altogether. Sometimes you have to do both. Sometimes you are currently working in theater and getting a paycheck from that, but it's not enough.
It's not enough.
So you need another job. Even that's a survival job. You could be doing what you want to do and then also having to work somewhere else just because your creative job isn't bringing in the money right now. So
there's a ton of people on Broadway who have other work.
There's a ton of people on Broadway that have other careers.
Full-time jobs. Oh my God, wait, I have to find him because he's been popping up on my my social media.
Your TikTok?
On my TikTok.
But yeah, like I know a lot of actors that like typically if you're on Broadway that like you focus on that, but they have entire other careers that they run, whether it be like, again, creative based. So whether it be like music, other like forms, helping other people, being agents. There are Broadway actors that are also agents. Mm-hmm. And those are people who have kind of found a way to do both. Like having their quote unquote survival job be also a creative job. And then having their creative job on the other side of that. But then when you're out and you're auditioning and maybe you're not on a show right now, like what is going to give you the most bang for your buck? What is going to be able to keep you going and keeping the bills paid and the lights on, but also will give you enough time to be able to put aside and go to the auditions in the morning or go work shows in the evening and stuff like that? What can give you that resources? What can give you kind of that schedule? It's a survival job.
Yeah,
That was
100%.
long-winded.
No,
Sorry, but
100%. I couldn't find him on TikTok. He pops up on my For You page all the time.
don't you hate it when
Maybe like, I
don't
don't
you hate
know.
it when you see one TikTok and you're like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm gonna find that again, and then you can't find it.
Never find it again. No, but he is like, I think, a vacation swing on Wicked.
Oh,
And
he's like a realtor. I think I've seen him, or maybe he's not a
he works in
realtor.
like finance or something.
Oh, yeah.
But it's everybody's just like, how do you do the matinees? And then like, but he explains it and stuff.
Yeah.
Insert him here if
Also, like I just said, like a vacation swing where
Yeah.
like you are not in the show every day. You technically aren't even like they're like freelance would not be the word I want to use, but like being a vacation swing, you're not on contract every day. Sometimes you're on contract for a week and then you're gone, and then like so they kind of like keep you around in case they need you something. You obviously need a job when you're not on because you're not getting paid when you're not on.
Right.
So it's like that's another survival job or
I
a
also
survival
feel-
career.
I'm also like I'm kind of interested to know, and like maybe I need to like ask like other people in other cities, but I feel like in New York it's very standard to have more than one job
Yeah.
versus like I feel like in other cities you can have one job and it pays the bills enough to also balance a career in theater. And I think that it mainly is yes because of like the cost of living in New York is so expensive and like you have to have more than one job. Like I think the most jobs that I've ever had is like 3
At once.
at once. I also always, for my state of mind, always consider acting as one of my jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you have to. I think that that's
Like as a constant.
as
or-
a constant. Like I'm a server, I'm an assistant, I am an actor. Like
Welcome to the round table.
welcome to the roundtable talk.
I am an actor.
But I think that you have to because like first of all it is something that like you're actively doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to consider your acting or your other profession that you are doing in the arts. If you're a dancer, if you're, just an actor, if you're a singer, if you're a musician, you have to consider that one of your survival jobs. Because in a way it kind of is. It's
Yeah.
like a part-time gig, you're not doing it all the time, but it's still every once in a while bringing you income.
Yeah.
So you have to
absolutely.
think of it that way.
I had the really fun opportunity to work while also being in school for musical theater and stuff. Okay. Our schedule actually changes to nighttime classes. So during the day, I was like, you know what? I am broke, poor. I ain't got no money. I need to get a job. So I literally started. Also, people don't mention this. Getting a job in New York is actually not very easy.
No, it's not.
It's like, oh wow, there's work. Well, I don't want to say that because that's not necessarily true all the time. It is more inconvenient to beg someone to hire you in New York City than I feel anywhere else.
Yeah.
The way I worked 2 retail jobs while at school. I worked at Redacted clothing store J. Crew and bankrupt. I'm surprised they're still going. And I worked at Swarovski, which is like the crystal store. It took me like 3 months of every single no, it was less than that, maybe like 2 months of every single day checking Indeed, checking like websites, whatever, and applying to get my one interview at J. Crew.
Yeah.
Like I applied to work at AMC movie theaters. They said no. I applied to work at the Shakespeare and Co. bookstore. Got an interview.
Oh yeah.
And then they were like, we want you to work at the cafe. I said, I literally applied to work at the bookstore. And they were like, well, you need to leave. And I was like, okay, cool. I literally just want like a minimum wage job. That's all I want.
Need something to help me out, please.
And then it literally like it took me so long to get like my survival job just to work retail, which I've done it before. I had the experience. And then after we graduated, I got a second job. I started working at Swarovski. I was working at J. Crew and Swarovski at the same time. And the real gag was they were in the same mall and they were right on top of each other. So J. Crew was upstairs, Swarovski was right downstairs.
Did you ever have to do like a double?
Yeah, I literally went from J. Crew. I opened J. Crew in the morning, and then halfway through the day, I would go
Come on, commitment.
work closing at Swarovski. Girl, I was in my bag, and guess what? And being in my bag means I was paying my bills because I was working those 2 jobs and I still had no money. So
Yeah, definitely. What I don't love about, I think, those jobs in the city, and like I guess it depends on like who your management team is and whatnot, but like I get so frustrated when it's like we're in New York. Like I think that you should expect that anybody who comes through your doors to like be an actor or like be somebody in the performance industry. And well, no, because I worked in I've worked in the restaurant business as like we all have, and when I was a hostess, they were like getting so mad at me when I was like, oh, well, like, I have to go for like an audition, or like I can't come in at this time because I have an audition. I was also in college when I was working that job too, and was like, I'm a student, like I'm going to take my college breaks. Yeah. Why would I not? And they were like pissed at me, and I was like, I don't think y'all understand that like I don't want to be in the restaurant business. Like this is not my life. So like you expecting me to like take that seriously is kind of like annoying. I don't know if that's like I feel like there's a little bit of like an ignorant take, I'm
gonna stop you because it is not the restaurant's responsibility to be like, well, she's an actor and you're right. We should give her vacation. When Miss Sally Mae over there isn't in college and is supporting her family and does the same job as you.
Yeah, I understand, but you can't have the expectations of everybody to like have that
and they can't
commitment.
And you can't expect them to have those expectations of you.
I don't know. It just
That's
pissed
not
me
how
off.
being an employer works.
Well, that job I absolutely hated, so I think that could
you were low stakes.
I was that I think that to me that job was very low stakes, low commitment, and they were like, this is, Top Chef. Like,
this is the Michelin star restaurant.
This is the Michelin star restaurant that like you need, and it wasn't even like fine dining. It was just like it was a classy little like hotel restaurant that I was at, which I was very thankful to get that job. But like, I wasn't committed. I also was like 19 and was like, like, whatever, and it pissed me off that they were not respectful of the fact that I was disrespectful to them.
So at the end of the day, Alana's mad that her restaurant job didn't cater to her every whim. And that was really inconvenient for her.
I was also a terrible hostess.
Oh, so not only did you want them to respect every break and all the time off you wanted, you also weren't very good at your job. I think this is
more power.
I think this is unraveling.
I think it is too. I think it is too. I'm gonna cancel myself. I think that more power to the hostess and like the servers in a restaurant out there, because that system is like it's impressive, and I think that people don't like understand that.
Well, yeah, and most of the time the hostesses the hostesses.
Yeah, the host is like running the show.
The host but also they're trying. It's mostly like sometimes it's a stepping stone job at like smaller restaurants to be a waiter or a server, so you can get tips because the host doesn't get tips.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we had no tip pool at that place. Like I got nothing.
And I'll say this before we go on to our next question. When it comes to the restaurant industry, I've never worked in food service. I don't attack me. But what's really fun about actually working in food service or even as a server in New York City, restaurants aren't allowed to pay their servers anything less than minimum wage. So like in most places, how like you'll get like a docked hourly pay because you're gonna
get your
tips and stuff. They made it a law, I think either 2 years ago or a couple of years ago, that every server has to get paid minimum wage. And if you're a server and you're not getting paid minimum wage, you live in New York City, you need to check in on it or run up on
check in on that. All right, my next question that I have is how do we balance survival jobs and being an artist in the city? Because I think that is one of the hardest things to do. you're in a soul sucking survival job, whether you're like working like the front desk at like a nail salon, you're, working as a Pilates instructor, you're, at Starbucks every day, you're making just salad, like, you know, you're doing all those menial jobs that make you money and whatnot, but you feel a little soul sucked.
I feel a little soul sucked. I mean, yes, I would say that's gonna be the hardest thing about a survival job is because at the end of the day, you do need money. And if acting or if performing or if your creative job is not turning an income for you, you are going to lose yourself into your survival job or your menial job just because you need money to survive. Um, what I've always said is if you have to like kind of pivot a little bit to get like your income up, to get your finances in order, um, I think that's important. But I think you need to keep yourself creative if that is the case, so you don't lose it. So it's not like, well,
100%.
I've given up, or not I've given up, but like I just can't focus on that right now.
Right.
It's not giving me what I need it to give me, and it's not going to do that if you do not stay creative or stay going, driven at some point in time.
Oh, 100%. I think that, like, to what you said, though, is like, if you need to pivot and like grind for like 2 months, like set a date for yourself, like write on a calendar, set a timer on your phone or something like that for like when those 2 months are up, like, you know, do something creative. Like,
Or like God forbid, there are like audition seasons. Like
right.
if let's say you go out and you audition, and let's say you didn't book anything for the summer, you didn't get a gig or something, like be like, okay, I know that maybe this summer is not going to be for me, or I know like maybe this holiday season isn't going to be for me.
Right. Like, I have to work this summer.
Like what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to work, again, stay creative in some way, shape, or form, like whether it be like do some music, go to an acting class, go to dance classes still during the day or something if you want to. Those are going to cost money, but like at least it's a way
but
to
that's
like,
why you're working.
but at least
why
it's
you're
going to be a
working.
way to stay active, to stay fit, to stay what you need to do. But still you can focus on your job. Now, in terms of like balancing them, if you are pure set of being like, this is my survival job, don't let your employer hate you because of your schedule. Right when you get the job, you need to be very honest about your availability and what you can do and what you can't do. Because what's going to get you on your employer's bad side really fast is if you've lied to them to get the job. I.e., like, oh, I can be available whenever you want me. Like, oh, like, I'll take any shifts, I'll do whatever. And then you start working, and then you go, well, I'm actually not available on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays until like 5 to 2. 5 to 2 until like 5 to 7. And I can only work 4-hour shifts, and I can only do that because it's going to be like, it's going to make your employer go like, well, why the fuck did I hire you?
Exactly.
There has to be, if you want a job, you have to want to work. But you're going to have to find a way to make your employer happy, but also
Yourself
still
happy.
still do whatever, still prepare and prep whatever you need to do for your gigs and your auditions and your whatever.
Yeah, you have to
That's not
learn.
like a very good answer.
I think
to
that
the
that is a good
question,
answer because I think that the point of what you're saying is that like you have to learn how to time manage yourself. And I think that that comes to what I said earlier in the sense of like you have to think of like your passion as another job. So you're already working that other job as an actor, as a dancer, as a painter, as, a musician. Like you have to already have that schedule for yourself kind of put in, and then when you need that other job, then you go to that other job and you say like, I can work this hours, but like from, 8 to 10, like I have to rehearse my music. I have to rehearse for, certain auditions. I have to rehearse for this monologue, or I have this acting class on Wednesdays that I have to go to that I can't do. that is your other job, and you have to build that into what you are doing. And I think that that is how you balance the lack of creativity that some of these, some of these survival jobs have. But I will say that my favorite interview question when you're interviewing for these survival jobs is like, you know, like what's like a strength that you have? And everybody goes like, oh, well, I'm a performer, so like I can make anything fun. I choose anything as like an acting.
Not a personality hire,
But
which we all are.
which we all are, which I think is so funny. I also think that what would be a fun thing to do is that, every once in a while, if you want to, grab a bunch of your friends and just like rent studio space in the city, because I think that you can find really cheap studio space in the city if you know where to look.
Oh,
And
also, if
just
you're like with other people, then
if you're with other people, like it's super
cuts the
cheap.
price in half every single time you add a person.
A lot of I feel like schools offer their alumni like free studio space, so you can like do I don't know if Open Jar still does their like call day of and get half off.
I've never gotten a studio at Open Jar,
Oh,
and
I
also it depends what Open Jar.
No, I used to get what I used to get like really cheap studios like $15 or something at Open Jar, like right after the pandemic, because they like just opened up or something, and like
Really needed
nobody
people to come.
but like nobody knew who they were. They just
Open Jar?
yes,
Oh, because they are newer.
they were newer like after the
Also,
pandemic.
I completely was thinking of the wrong place. I was thinking of freaking Ripley Greer.
No, babe.
Open Jar is actually really nice. I really like Open Jar.
I love Open Jar, but I don't know if they still do. I would assume that they still do that. That they still give you like a percentage off of a room if you call day of to see if they have availability. But I feel like now they don't have a ton of availability because everybody uses them because the studios are so nice.
And they're brand new.
And they're brand new.
And the whole space is Ripley Greer, ew. Every single one is gross.
But, yeah.
Especially the one with that big lobby area with the stairs. It always smells like cigarettes.
Yeah, that one is not my favorite place. But
watch me get banned from Ripley Greer.
No, but they have I don't know, the lady that works at front desk got that space. I like her. Her and I would kiki because I was production assistant for like a couple readings there, and like she was great.
No, lovely.
You just
What
gotta
are we
be
talking about?
You just gotta be nice to people. Sorry, we got a little sidetracked. Onto our studios. My saying of like we need to rent. If you need to like rent studio space to like go sing through like a musical like with your friends, like go do it. Because if you're feeling the lack of creativity in your survival job, then like there are other ways that you can
find
that creativity that's not there.
Just to stay artistic. Just
Yeah.
to like sing, because that's the reason we do it, isn't it? To love life.
Yeah.
To love performing. And sometimes I'll say this. Sometimes you might have a really fun survival job. I mean, I'll say for me, what I do right now, like, is my career. It's what I want to do. And I also, like I've said the last episode, like I still perform, I still act, but like part of why I got into doing hair and makeup was because I mostly did swing work in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So like I would do a part-time situation. I would go to shows, I would learn tracks at different shows, and I would come in whenever they needed coverage or someone wanted to take a vacation or a day off. And that was literally part-time for me. Well, post-pandemic, everyone was getting sick. I was working quite a lot actually, yeah. But like that's part-time. Like that's a way that I literally can do my job I'm doing now in a part-time way, which like it brought me a lot more money than working a retail job or a minimum wage kind of job, just because it was a trade skill, which is a different conversation. But like even doing that, finding different, if you're a performer, if you're an actor, and this is like my number one word of advice whenever I like talk to schools or anything, is like, you have to find something else that you really like to do in theater besides performing. If you're a performer, like you have to, it's like necessary to like, one, understand how the whole machine works, to be like, what do other departments do? What does wardrobe do? What's their jobs? What's hair and makeup do? What's their jobs? What do the freaking stage hands do? What does the stage manager do? Like, learning how the whole machine works instead of just being like, I'm on stage and I sing my song and I leave and I go sit in my dressing room. It's like, you have to find out how it all works. And when you do that, see if you have interest in doing anything else.
And so many doors open up.
And so many doors.
After you find that out.
There are so many jobs in theater that people don't think about because they move to New York and they want to be performers, they want to be Broadway stars, when in reality, a lot of the people that are working on Broadway behind the scenes have been actors on Broadway before. And when they go, hey, maybe I don't want to perform anymore, they literally keep working on Broadway and theater just in a different way.
I feel like that's a lot of like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like very, very like had my horse blinders on to like only being an actor, and then because of when the pandemic hit, and I was like, okay, like what else can I do? I've always really loved kind of like doing like theater admin stuff, and I know that like I have the personality for it. Just I think in general, you think?
Joke.
That boss lady like personality for it. I'm also like very organized, and like I like things done in like a certain way, you know, which I think that a lot of producers have that personality, a lot of like, you know, artistic directors have that personality, and that's the kind of path that I went down. So like after college, after I worked that hostess job, I then got a job as like an artistic assistant for a theater company in New York, and I was also then working for her husband. So I worked for like a husband and wife duo, and she had a theater company and he had an architect firm. So I worked for her half of the week and I worked for him the other half of the week as like a bill collector, which I just
Come on, bill collector.
I will forever.
My favorite kind of people.
My favorite kind of people. A bill collector, little me. I just thought that it was like the funniest thing in the world because, and it was so funny because they were like, well, you're an actor. Like, just act like, you know, you're trying to get that money. And it was like, I'm like 20-year-old.
You're in debt.
20-year-old me calling these like billionaire developers being like, you owe us 10 grand. And they're like, well, what's going on with my project? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't speak.
You're talking to the wrong person.
I don't speak architect. Like, but it was just so interesting. And also through that theater job, like I learned so much about how theaters are run, especially nonprofit theaters, like applying to grants, you know, dealing with artists and what's that like, dealing with equity and creating equity contracts and all of those things. I like relearned how to stage manage. I relearned how to production manage. I did press and marketing and all of these different aspects of theater. Like I really am so thankful for that job, for teaching me so many of other skills that, you know, it's gotten me to the point where like then I've become like a personal assistant, personal executive, you know, whatever assistant to producers on Broadway, which has like led me to that because I have those skills and I really like doing it, which allows me to have like this other aspect of theater that I never really thought of as a career.
Yeah.
That is part of my everyday. That is my survival job, is also, and I'm thankful to say that like, you know, my other survival job that I do have is working still in the theater industry in an aspect.
Yeah.
I also am like a bartender with catering. So
job. I do this. I do this. I do this. You want a drink? I can make you a drink. You want me to set up a meeting for you? It's already the Zoom link has been sent.
Done. But like I think that, you know, you, like Darion was saying, like you really have to, and I think that this definitely leads into one of my questions that we were going to talk about, which is just like, what are these other jobs? Besides like working at a coffee shop or like working
again, basically what we've been saying.
What we've been saying is just like you have to identify like what your skills are. If you like, you know, if you like graphic design, if you're good at computers, like make a small business for yourself and like offer your friends helps, like building websites or building other people's websites. If you like editing videos, like that's a huge like
Girl,
girl. If you like editing videos,
this video right now.
if you like editing videos,
If you
like
want to if you want to edit videos, hit me up because
hit us up, hit us up.
I hate editing videos.
But you have to find like these other skills that you have. You know, if you are a highly organized person and you can manage a lot and you can multitask, like maybe being an assistant would be good for
Beneficial to you.
And like a ton of people need assistance and whatnot. If you know,
Assistance.
assistance. Also, like if you don't like working in restaurants necessarily, like go cater. Like that's also like what I do. I love catering. Question mark, question mark. Do I? Maybe.
I love catering. Well,
No, I do really like it. I think that I get to work like a ton of like different events in the city that I really enjoy. And I like the people that I work with because they are also other actors and artists in the city. So it's fun to just collaborate with them every single day. And
Yeah.
like you get to meet a ton of other people.
celebrities.
Celebrities you get to meet, but do they think of you as people majority
No,
of the time?
you are the
No.
help.
Which
But
is so funny though, because you know what, my acting coach, he asked me one day, he was like, you know, at these events, like you can like network. And I said, well,
well, they order their drink. I hand it to them. They walk away.
yeah,
You know?
I can network with the people that I said to him, I was like, well, I can network with the people that are like my peers because like they
They are also working.
are also working.
So, you had a colleague that is now an actor in my show on Broadway.
Yeah, 100%. And look at that.
So like again, these people are though even like in regular situations, you have other people that are working in the industry with you, and they might go on and do other things, and you can also be like, hey, I have a question. Are you willing to answer my questions? It's a way of like, again, it's a way to network. It's a way of whatever. But in the reality of like, maybe you do work a retail job, or maybe you do work something that isn't so survival jobby, more like regular person-y, I would say. It's like, again, what we said before, just kind of learning how to manage your time, but you can still find ways to be creative and perform. You just need to go out of your way to do it, kind of. And it's hard, it's difficult, but it's the only way.
Yeah. And I think that like some of the ways, I also do want to talk about like how do we find these jobs that we just
Indeed.
talked about. You can find them through Indeed. You can find them on Playbill. Also like
going in to somewhere and asking if they're hiring.
Oh my God,
Listen,
people don't do that anymore.
People are so afraid to do that.
Yeah, go in person.
But go in person, ask if they're hiring. A lot of the time, they will be like, "Oh, well, apply online." But
but just going in there and meeting people, and then like maybe if they're not so busy, like maybe like try and like have like a little conversation with the person too to like get them to like you, because the point is that you don't want to just come in and like drop off a resume and then like ditch, you know?
Yeah. Also, when it comes to theater jobs, we love people actually coming and dropping off resumes. That is such a normal thing with Broadway, is because people always look for swings. Sometimes we don't have the access to everybody that needs work all the time. So people will literally go door to door, stage door to stage door, and drop off a resume. I would say do a little research before you drop them off. Like maybe know who the department head for whatever department you want to work in, or even as simple as like reaching out, be like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. I have this skill set. I would love to like shadow you for like a day just to see kind of like what your job is and stuff. And even that builds a repertoire of people that you know, to be like, oh, well, actually, Darion came in and he shadowed me one day. And I actually really like Darion. Maybe he can come in and learn how to do this track. And then boom. It's like the more sociable you are and the more you interact with people physically,
The more people will want to work with you.
yeah, because it's all about people want to work with nice people. People don't want to work with people
Yes.
who are difficult or particular. In theater, we have a saying when people are not necessarily the nicest, and it is, well, they're just very specific. That's
I
not a
like
good
that.
thing.
But I like that description though. They're very
Well, you know, she's just like
specific.
specific, you know? That's not a good thing. Be delightful. Be delightful to work with.
Be unspecific.
Life is too hard. Our real lives are too hard right now for us to go play pretend and be miserable.
Yeah, just be nice to
So
people.
just be, and that's more than just theater. That's literally anywhere,
Every day
any
in life.
workplace. Life is too serious to like be mad that you're folding a t-shirt right now. Like, I'm sorry. And I said that so many times when I was folding t-shirts. It's like, this is a joke.
No, literally.
Like, I'm selling this $150 t-shirt to this old woman right now.
Everything is unserious.
I would say I'm jaded. I got both my jobs. Well, I've worked many retail jobs, but my New York jobs, I got both my J. Crew job and my Swarovski job from Indeed is how I got them. So
I think Indeed's good, but I think that they lack in responding to people.
oh yeah,
I think that instead of Indeed, you should actually like go to the organization. I think that
and see if they're hiring.
you need to do your research and like figure out like what are some of your favorite theaters in the city. And when I say theaters, I'm not talking about like if you want to work on Broadway, like that's another thing, but I'm just saying like your typical like, you know, off Broadway theaters or, you know, off Broadway theaters. Like what are those theater companies? Go to their websites, look at their careers, see who's in charge. If they're not hiring, then like there's no harm in just dropping off a resume or just emailing somebody and being like, hey, I love your theater. I love your mission statement. Here's how I identify it. Would love to work for you guys one day if you just want to keep my like resume and cover letter on file.
Yeah. Also, there are job recruiters.
There are job recruiters, yeah.
Which
You have to pay for them.
no, there are some you don't. I've been a part of 24/7 for like years, and I still get emails from them, and I've never worked a shift from 24/7. But that's more like you do have to. I think if you get the job, then you pay them like a percentage.
Yeah.
But that's more like you go look into like 24/7 specifically is the one that I worked with. I'd like go in an interview, and then they decide if they want to recruit you. And that's more. It can be anywhere from like short-term work to long-term work. So like they need extra help at this high-end retail store for the week because there's a event going on. So they need more people. And like even that's short-term work. Like you go, they send you a job and you decide if you want to accept it or not. And it's kind of like, it is what it is. So there are job recruiters too that their entire job is to send you short form work. So that's also another option.
No, 100%. I also really like tracking board.
I don't know
Which
what that
is another kind of like, well, tracking board is more for like film and TV. It is a little bit more like film and TV centered in the film and TV area. So they have like a job board on there and they have a lot of like assistant positions and they have a lot of like project coordinators, film coordinator positions, but it's just like PAs. It's a lot of, you know, other jobs that like you can look into and like might be interested in if you want to get to know that area more.
I love that. I love the whole little conversation we had today. I thought it was
Yeah.
very productive.
I thought so too.
Also, I hope that like we benefited you in any way if you're kind of looking. And also if you're not looking, I feel like maybe a lot of people don't know this information or like they think there's only one way to do something or
Yeah. I think our main piece of advice, if I were to like wrap up what we just talked about, in just to like a couple sentences, is basically like you have to think of like your passion as another job that you have. If you really truly want to learn how to balance everything in your life, you have to think about your passion as another job that you have in order to do that. Fit that in, because that's important. And then also, if you are struggling to find like a survival job, I think the best way to do that is just to sit down, write all your skills out, see what your skills are, and then from those, you can definitely find a job that
Yes.
fits you.
Sorry,
You
I was
know,
trying to look skinny in the camera.
babe, come on. But I'm saying, like, if you're writing down your skills and you're like, you're highly organized, you're type A, you multitask, you like working, under pressure, you can get things done fast. Like,
You
go.
get along well with others.
You get along well with others. Like, you're able to like work in different scenarios and have different like tasks that you can always handle. Like, go be a personal assistant if you don't like working in like restaurants anymore. Like, maybe go cater and
If you
stuff
like
that.
exercising, see if you can get qualified to be a personal trainer.
Be a personal trainer.
Or work at a gym.
If you like, planning stuff and you don't want to cater to somebody, like, go be an event planner. There's.
And also ask around. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, to DM people on Instagram.
Yes.
To actually have a stack of resumes you can give to people, to go to theaters, to drop off resumes, to go ask people for things. Like, there is truly one way to work, and it is to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And to be open and able and willing. And with that comes like, hey, I know I've been doing this really well for a long time. I actually have an audition coming up. Or, oh, I actually like, the more and more people want to work with you and the more that they like you and the more you're good at your job, you can get those leniencies to also have the time to put aside for your creative job as well.
Exactly.
And then you can do both. Slay. Work. Wow. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Into the Industry.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching and listening.
We'll have another episode next week. I think it's going to be about, we'll have another guest. It's going to be about company management.
I'm excited.
Which, you're like, oh, wow, what an interesting topic. It actually is very interesting.
It's so interesting.
We're going to be talking to Andrew McLaughlin, Sarah McLaughlin, Andrew McLaughlin. He's currently the assistant company manager at my show, Oh Mary. So that's going to be really fun. And we're going to be cutting up in Kiki. And he's going to explain to you how contracts work.
Contracts, unions. I feel like
Love a union.
I feel like we're going to talk about things that a lot of people don't even know exists in
a lot of money
in this industry.
Money talk.
Which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely more Broadway centric next week.
Yeah, but I think that it's a good.
Oh, I think it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be so good.
And we're actually really excited because we have booked some nice guests coming down the pipeline as well. Not that Andrew isn't a nice guest.
Andrew, we love you. We love you, Andrew.
That's gonna be next week, and then in the next couple of weeks, we have some really cool people that we're gonna love to talk to as well. So.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Make sure you keep on listening. Follow all of our socials.
Keep on listening. Remember, we shoot most of these in advance, so if any of the information is wrong, it's not my fault.
Don't come for us.
And if anything changes, I will put that in an editor's note when I post them. But anyway, have a lovely night.
We love
day,
you.
whenever you watch this.